be ready, right? All of our classrooms have to be ready, our teachers have to be ready. Everyone who is responsible for the care of our children and the education of our children have to be ready, which meant I had to be ready to make a decision to appoint someone who, or at least on an interim basis, could guide this school system. And I know that Dr. Shawn Joseph is that person. Today, he will introduce his 100-day plan, which will center around 5 critical areas: strengthening governance, advancing student achievement, investing in human capital, supporting wellness and safety, and ensuring operational excellence. That's what we deserve, and that's what this superintendent will deliver. I want to thank the Prince George's County Board of Education. Thank you so much, Mr. Chair. I know that the vote on approving Dr. Joseph's contract occurred last night in this building, so I'm grateful that you all were able to get that done. I want to thank the County Council in his absence, Chair Burrows and Vice Chair Oriada, and of course our student board member. We are united. That's one thing that I think is so important right now. We have not been as united as a county as we are right now, and we're going to stay that way, because our constituents are counting on us, our children are counting on us, and guess what? We're counting on ourselves to hold ourselves accountable to you. And that's what today represents. So I'm super excited, Dr. Joseph, to hear about your plan, or hear more about your plan, because I kind of already know about it. But I want you to introduce it to everyone. And I am so grateful again that you have taken on this awesome but just worthwhile responsibility to care for the future of our community, our children. So, Dr. Joseph, if I can introduce you to our now interim superintendent, Dr. Shawn Joseph.
Wow, good afternoon, everybody. It is humbling to be in this building. It's been about 9 years since I've been in this particular room and had a lot of great memories. But I thank you all for being here today. I begin by offering my deep appreciation to County Executive Aisha Braveboy, Board Chair Brandon Jackson, and the entire Prince George's County Board of Education for entrusting me with such a sacred honor. I mean, serving children, it's an honor, without question. We've got the opportunity to help children fulfill their wildest dreams. And as the adults who facilitate that process, we need to come to it with both humility and recognize the honor, that we have. And to serve Prince George's County, I mean, this powerful, proud, and purposeful community is both humbling and exhilarating. And I believe with all of my heart that you cannot have a great school system without strong engagement. And engagement, authentic, ongoing, and inclusive, is absolutely free. Right? It's one of the most powerful ingredients that a school system has to be successful. We must begin to hold ourselves accountable. We must be held accountable by our constituents, and we must hold one another accountable as we do this important work together. So as such, I'm launching my 100-day entry plan today, a focused, transparent approach to stabilizing, aligning, and beginning to accelerate work across our district. This plan is grounded in 5 key areas. First, building strategic priorities with the Board of Education. So I'll meet with each board member individually and collectively to understand their vision for our district and the concerns that we have within our district. This is important. I mean, the board lays out the mission, the vision, and the core values of this system. So the first question we have to answer is, are we dreaming bold enough for the brilliance that we know that exists within this great community for our children? And what do we want to accomplish in the year? Like, how do we quantify and be really clear about what excellence looks like, feels like, and taste like, in Prince George's County Public Schools. Together, we will identify a small number of strategic priorities aligned to student outcomes, and will build a framework of shared accountability, right? Whereas the board lays out the governance, the mission, vision, and core values, the superintendent's office executes on those priorities and makes those dreams a reality. Our aim is coherence, to ensure that the work that happens in central office and our schools are aligned with those goals that the board communicates. Next, we're going to continue to work to strengthen our talent development and our human resources, right? Our schools are only as strong as the people that are in them. And we will work with the human resources team to assess our hiring practices, our onboarding systems, and our professional development. We'll review staffing vacancies and align talent development with the goals of the blueprint for Maryland's future. Great systems are filled with great people, and we must support and grow ours with a sense of urgency. Next, we're going to focus on academics. We're going to review the academic data for every school in the district, looking at not only the outcomes, but the inputs and supports that are in place. We'll identify what's working and we'll scale it. We'll identify what's not working and stop doing it. All right, we'll confront underperformance honestly and craft a plan to support struggling schools and work to accelerate their progress. Student achievement across all grade levels and all student groups will be the lens through which every decision will be made. Next, we'll prioritize the blueprint for Maryland's future. The blueprint is not a compliance requirement, in my opinion. It's an opportunity. We'll ensure that the district's work aligns to its pillars, specifically early childhood expansion, college and career readiness, teacher quality, and equitable funding. We'll review our readiness to implement our blueprint and make adjustments to guarantee that we're not only meeting expectations, but we're doing it better than anybody in the state, right? That we should have that expectation that we can be bigger and better than anybody in the state. Finally, I think most importantly, we're going to elevate family, community engagement, and union engagement. Engagement is not a nicety to me. It is a necessity. Right? That's why I've assumed direct oversight, or I will assume direct oversight, of our Department of Family and Community Partnerships. I've charged our extraordinary director, Dr. Shayla Jackson, who's with us today, and you'll hear from in a moment, to come up with a plan to ensure that family voice is heard from day one. In addition, we must ensure that we're truly partnering with our unions to co-create a new future grounded in respect and in partnership. While I'll take the lead in engaging our union colleagues, I'm asking Dr. Jackson to focus on our family engagement. So Dr. Jackson is going to come up in a moment and talk about what she and I have talked about over the past day or two, and thank you for your urgency to pull everything together for us here. But we've identified a few actions to begin, namely to develop a family engagement strategic plan grounded in best practices, and we'll have that out next week for feedback from the community so we can work to refine it with your input. We'll hold 9 virtual parent meetings, 1 in each board district within my first 30 days. We'll host 9 in-person community engagement sessions, again, within the first 100 days. That'll be in person. We'll review all parent perception data to identify gaps and opportunities that we have. We're going to make sure we reestablish the Prince George's County Parent Council to bring coherence and power to family voice. And we're going to refine our parent engagement policy to reflect what's happening nationally and to reflect best national practices and our community's expectations. As I've said all along, that no improvement strategy will work without our parents' active feedback and pushing the district, period. We recognize we must do better, and to do better, we must give parents the opportunity and access to the table so we can get this hard work done. So let me be clear. This just isn't a time for distractions or disunity. We must be focused, we must execute, and we must move as one district, not fragmented, but aligned in purpose. So at this time, I'm going to ask Dr. Jackson to just come up and share what we're going to begin today. Dr. Jackson, thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am so honored to be entrusted by our interim superintendent, Dr. Shawn Joseph, to continue to lead the work of establishing effective family and community engagement practices here in Prince George's County Public Schools. As Dr. Joseph has made clear, family and community engagement is not an add-on. It's not something we just do on Wednesday or Tuesday night. It is a core strategy to help us as a system come together to ensure student success and school improvement. As parents and community, your voices are important. They matter. Your experiences, your ideas, all of that must be at the center of our decision making to help us make sure within our system that we are utilizing best practices to meet the needs of all students. That's why in Dr. Joseph's first 100 days, we'll be leading two key efforts to be able to connect with our families and our communities. First of all, and Dr. Joseph has already mentioned this, we are going to host monthly meetings in person in all 9 Board of Education districts. In that way, we will be creating the opportunity to host parent and community advisory groups where parents will come together with the superintendent, have conversations, explore our data, talk about the challenges, but also engage in active listening and collaborative problem solving. We want to work together, as our interim superintendent has said, not to bash our school system, but instead to be strong and come up with strategies that we all can implement together. And he also mentioned our plan to reestablish our County Council of Parent Leadership Organizations. We used to call it the Prince George's County Council of PTAs. It's not so much to revive a structure, but it's about the act of coming together in leadership positions and having conversations about what's in the best interest of our students and our schools. We can do this. I am that parent that people used to wish would go away and get a job. I believe in effective parent and community engagement. It makes a difference for our school system and for our children. We must join together to do this work. So the steps that I've just talked about, 2 steps in the first 100 days, are part of the larger commitment to make sure that we are pulling together as a community. And we also want to remind everyone that we will never forget our commitment to making sure that we engage all families. So our offices of interpretation and translation will always be at the forefront of our work to make sure that every voice is heard, that every family is served, that every child is successful, that every teacher and administrator feels supported. We can do this, Prince George's County, and I'm happy to be a part of that team. Thank you.
All right, so you have the 100-day plan in front of you, and I just wanted to walk you through some of the key points, and then we'll conclude here. So again, we start our plan intentionally listening with purpose, leading with integrity, and advancing excellence for every child. All right, the purpose of our 100-day plan is to create a deliberate roadmap to engage deeply with our Prince George's County community, to assess our district system's culture, and to lay the foundation for transformative action. This plan's designed to build trust, promote equity, enhance student achievement, and improve organizational effectiveness. Again, our district is guided by core values that the Board of Education has put together, and we have 6 in our district: that students are our priority, and all students can achieve at high academic levels. Families, students, and educators share the responsibility for student success. High expectations inspire high performance. All staff share the responsibility for a safe and supportive school environment, contributing to excellence in education. The support of everyone in our community is essential to the success of our schools and students, and this success enriches our community, and continuous improvement in teaching, leadership, and accountability is the key to our destiny, right? We have a mission statement and a vision statement that focuses us, right? And our vision statement says we're a culturally responsive district developing distinguished learners, leaders, and voices of social justice and advocates for humanity for the world of today, tomorrow, and beyond. You know, for this to accomplish, like I said, we all have to come together and we all have to play an important role in the execution of this actual vision. Again, our Board of Education is committed, and it's one of the reasons I came back, quite frankly. I think we've got such a powerful Board of Education. I mean, people who are dedicated and committed to the fight, you know, to help us get things better, and combine that Board of Education with a county executive who graduated from our system, who knows the excellence of our system, and wants to see that excellence scaled, you know, is just an opportunity of a lifetime to come and to serve. And I want to be clear, in Prince George's County, we don't wait for hope. We create it. We don't watch change, we lead it. And we don't walk alone. We will rise together. You know, so the 100-day plan, as you see it, is broken down into 3 movements, right? In the first 100 days, the immediate priorities are the board and I to engage. The board and I committed last night that we're going to spend time together once a month, coming together, planning, making sure we're aligned, making sure we're together, making sure we're communicated, and we're crystal clear about execution and how the steps we take, first, second, and third, to effectively execute. We're going to engage our labor unions to make sure that we have contracts that are respectful to our employees and reflect the fact that we recognize you're working hard, and this work is hard, and you'll be respected and appreciated for the time you put in to transforming our children's lives. We're going to focus on staffing and recruiting as we gear up for the next school year. We really want to be clear that we have the best in the country in front of our kids, driving our buses, cleaning our buildings throughout the organization. We'll do a comprehensive review of our academic data, and we'll audit what's working and not working, particularly looking at what's expected from the blueprint from, and we're going to and listening to parents. You know, I think the best organizations listen deeply and then adjust to what they hear, right? We won't be offended by you telling us we got to improve something. We'll work to improve it. And then as we move to the 30 to 61 days, again, we'll continue refining the board's priorities. We're going to do an audit. I am extremely big on return on investment. Return on investment. So we're putting dollars, we're putting efforts in. How do we know we're getting something out of it? We've got to be able to answer that question if we're going to accelerate our work. So we have to look at operational efficiency within the district, right? There are things that have not worked well for some time. And we've got to ask the question, why isn't it working? And maybe maybe we don't have the resources for it, then we need to communicate better to people and let people know what the problems are much clearer than we can, because I think people can understand that sometimes it takes time to totally fix something, but we can communicate how we're working to make it better effectively. You know, I listened to the board meeting last night, and I commended Dr. Coleman. Dr. Coleman, I didn't forget your name, Dr. Coleman. There's a lot of pressure under these lights. You know? But I commended Dr. Coleman immediately for how he communicated about the transportation work that's happening. And the whole, I'm looking forward to the chipmunk, tool coming in to help parents better understand what's happening. But like I said, that's an example of good communication on a problem that has been happening in the system for a long time. But we don't run from problems, we work to tackle them. So I appreciated that update last night. And then again, the most important work will happen much after that 100 days, and that's that instructional and programmatic readiness. We have to make sure that our students and our buildings are getting top quality educational experiences, and we're monitoring their growth. Because we should expect kids to grow Our challenge is how do we accelerate that growth, and what are the accelerants that it takes to move us much faster. So as I mentioned, we've got five areas that we're focused on: strategic alignment, talent, academics, focusing on the blueprint, community engagement, and operations. So I won't bore you going through every little detail here, but as you look at the plan, what you'll see is I've broken down in 30, 60, 90 days what we'll accomplish, when we'll accomplish it. So you'll hear an update from me after the 30th day, once we get through the 60th day, and once we get through on each one of those activities. And we're going to load a website, a landing page for the 100-day plan, and you'll be able to track what's getting done as we're going through. Because what's most important to me is if I say I'm going to do something, we're going to do it. And if we don't do it, we'll communicate why it's not done. That's extremely important. So as we move through these 100 days, we'll move through with a high level of accountability, because that's what you expect here in Prince George's County Public Schools. So again, I won't walk you through all these details now. I've been talking a long time. And we'll conclude by saying this is a moment for action. I think this is a moment for urgency, and this is a moment where I believe we can do great things on behalf of children in a great county. But the moment is here. I'm just going to ask us all to push one another to be our best. Iron sharpens iron. And I think if we work together, push together, and challenge one another, and give each other grace, because when you're pushing hard, you make mistakes, things happen. So let's give each other grace in those moments, and I think if we do that, we will be a better school system faster than you know. So I will turn it back over here to Megan. I believe we'll take some questions.
Thank you so much, Dr. Joseph. We will now open it up for a few questions from the media. I do want to respectfully emphasize that this Q&A should be focused around the 100-day plan and the priorities that Dr. Joseph has outlined. For other deeper dives or other topics, we are happy to arrange one-on-ones through my office. Please state your name and your outlet before your question. We'll try to get to as many as we can as time allows.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't costed it out, to be quite honest with you. Much of the stuff, meeting monthly, that doesn't cost anything. It's the cost of time, but it's not in a physical cost. We're a rich county, and we've got extremely smart people here. So I'm not one that's looking to bring a bunch of consultants in. I think a lot of the work we can do internally is just reprioritizing some of the work, particularly some of the internal audit and things that need to happen. There wouldn't be much cost, but the things that'll cost will probably move towards long-term past the first 100 days. Sure.
Dr. Joseph, I respect that you'd like to stay focused on the 100-day plan, but in an earlier
Just say who you are once again, I'm sorry.
I respect that you want to stay focused on your 100-day plan. In an earlier statement, you did make some reference to the way your tenure ended in Nashville.
Sure.
I wonder if just in general terms you'd like to respond to some of the questions that you raised that led to your departure there.
Sure. Well, let me say this. As a man of faith, I believe that God does not waste our struggles. Right? He allows challenge not to break us, but to build us. Right? And it builds our character, it builds our resilience, and it builds our wisdom. Okay? And what I would say is that if we remain focused in tough times, we become wiser. And I'd say my experience in Nashville has made me much wiser and much more focused as a result of some of the situations we dealt with there. What I'll tell you about Nashville is I'm proud of the fact that Nashville is the 43rd largest district in America, extremely diverse. And while we were there, our reading achievement grew faster than the nation on the MAP assessments and on the state assessments. We expanded gifted and talented instruction for students. We reduced suspensions there, particularly pre-K through second grade where they were arresting black children at an unbelievable rate. We stopped that practice while it was happening on my watch. And we made an unprecedented investments in mental health, in wraparound services, and in student supports, community schools. I know we have a number of them here. We invested heavily in the community schools there in Nashville. Now, was I criticized for moving too fast? Yes. Did my team, including myself, make some mistakes? Absolutely. Was I ever found to be committed to doing anything wrong or having any disciplinary action by a board? The answer to that is no. Right? Were there issues with human resources? Yes. And did we have a human resources person who didn't turn some things into the state and as a result was exited from the district with my blessings? Yes. Right? And did I have to deal with the ramifications of that? Yes. But what I know is that change creates noise, particularly when it happens in a leadership context that's wrapped in issues of class, race, culture, and privilege. And I brought a lot of change, which brought a lot of noise from those protecting a status quo that were not used to seeing a black man exercise leadership in a dynamic way. So, lessons learned from that are, I don't run from noise, but I learn from it. I listen, I reflect, I grow, and I'm better because of it. Now as I enter Prince George's County as the interim community superintendent, I not just bring a resume, I bring some wisdom, right? And hard-earned, grace-given wisdom, as a matter of fact. And so I say to you that I thank my God for the pain that I've endured because it's taught me humility. It's taught me patience, and most of all, it's taught me that leadership is not about being perfect. It's about being purposeful. Look, I did not come to Prince George's County to relive old battles. I actually came to build a brighter future. So a future grounded in excellence, a future grounded in equity, and a future grounded in accountability, and most importantly, a future grounded in the love of our children. So having said that, it's time to get to work, and it's time to start moving forward, not sitting back on something that happened 6 years ago. Yes?
Over the years, there's a lot of other leaders who have come in here and tried to create big change and do things, and they found it really easy for other people to sort of throw sand in the gears and make that progress and those changes a lot more difficult, whether they're in leadership roles or whether they're just further down, especially when it comes to, changes and accountability, things like that. You're promising changes in certain areas that could lead to accountability that people might not be used to. How do you prevent that from happening to you and slowing you down?
Yeah, you know what the blessing of being interim is? I can do the work without a lot of the politics because at the end of the day, if I'm not selected, I got a job, right? So I'm here to really focus. And I think, but what I know about Prince George's County is, we've got so many great people here. I wouldn't, I'm old now. I've been doing this for 30 years, and I wouldn't come into a job that I thought was mission impossible. This is actually mission possible. And I believe that the time is now, and the time is right to just focus on focus. Because I think if we focus, and if you looked, and that's why I talked about the work with the board, and the board and I committed to meeting monthly together. Because when we focus, when we're clear about what we're doing first, second, and third, when we can hold ourselves accountable and align our budgets to our vision, any organization that has more vision than capacity fails, right? And we'll continuously recalibrate and focus. So, if somebody's not willing to work, yeah, they should quit because they'll probably get fired, right? We're in this moment right now where we've just got to get things done. Our kids deserve it, our community deserves it, and so we're just going to execute.
And you are a candidate for the full-time job?
Well, so right now what I know is if you focus on your mission, you'll always have a job. If you focus on your job, you might miss your mission. Right now, I'm just focused on this job as interim superintendent, starting today, June 27. When we get to the second semester, we'll see how everybody's feeling. But right now, I'm focused on the mission of just getting things done right.
So does that mean you have no intentions to apply?
No, what that means is right now, I'm focused on this mission of being an interim superintendent and doing that well. When the time comes, we'll assess.
Dr. Joseph, I have one question about
Yes.
federal government's impact. Oh, I'm sorry, yes. Lionel Down, NWS.
Yeah, good to see you again.
See you again.
Yeah.
Yes, I had this question on how the federal government is going to be impacting your 100-day plan and the steps that you're taking to hopefully improve Prince George's County Public Schools. Here, Prince George's County in particular, the decisions from the federal government are being felt and are being made, are
Yeah.
things that leadership is dealing with. A Supreme Court decision just came down that said that parents were able to allow parents to opt out of certain instructions, saying that it would conflict with their religious beliefs. Can you talk a little bit about how much of an impact this decision might have on your plan for the first 100 days, and how much some of the federal decisions might hamper or impact your approach to
Well, when you look through the 100-day plan, you'll see one of the things we're going to do is look at how our title dollars are being spent and what the return on investment on those dollars are. We do rely pretty heavily on federal dollars. They're not the main part of our budget, but they're a significant part of our budget. So we have to make sure that those dollars are being utilized effectively. Look, I think what's most important is what we do locally. I think that local context matters more than federal context to me. And I think we've got a local context right now where I think all of the conditions are aligned for us to do some great things. I haven't had time to delve into this current budget to see what the changes were from last year to this year and so forth. That's part of the work that I need to do. But again, I think we should brace for tough fiscal times. I think that's wise to do. I think we should be conservative with how we spend dollars, and we need to make sure that, again, the dollars that we have an impact, and that's what we'll focus on.
I think we have time. I think we have time for one more question. One more question.
Okay, we're Tom Mundo and Tom Ford.
Darcy Spencer.
So I appreciate, welcome aboard.
Thank you.
I appreciate some of the questions have already been asked. Last night at the board meeting, you may have seen that there were some parents who weren't exactly happy, maybe with the process and how you got here, not your fault. But you talked about parent engagement and being accountable and transparent and things like that. Maybe some people are not happy about the way this came about, but you want to build that trust. And what are your thoughts about that as far as moving forward and kind of feeling some of that? And then, Tony Mundo had this question that's already.
Yes, for Hispanic community.
Of course.
I know one of the goals is to improve communication in all the languages, or as many languages as possible for everybody to be involved. Many people are scared right now. Many people are scared to send their children to school right now because
Yes.
of the situation. What message do you have for Hispanic parents?
Sure. So to your first question, I would say I can't control I can't control the process. I can't control how I got here. What I can control is what I do while I'm here. I mean, that I can control. And I tell those parents, if they got a question or a challenge, to engage. Come to one of the monthly meetings that we're going to have. Share your experiences. I'll listen, and I'll work to satisfy all reasonable requests. I mean, that is our goal. We have to come together. At some point, we've got to stop pointing fingers, and we've got to start working together to get things done. I think we spend too much time blaming and not enough time saying, what can I do to help things go right? And so we've got to get there. And to our families who have come here from other countries, our Latino families, and I know in Prince George's County we have over 100 different countries and languages and things. So we're one of the most diverse places on earth. What I would say is that you are welcome here, and we're going to do everything in our ability to ensure that you are safe here. Again, locally, our value system says that we're going to do right by all families of all backgrounds. It's one of the reasons, everything we do gets translated in multiple languages because we see the people we serve. And that's important to leadership. And so, any family who feels any apprehension, please tell them to reach out and come. This is a safe, and I think we must work with you to help communicate how we will keep you safe and how we will work with you. And there's a poem that goes, I'd rather see a sermon than to hear one any day. I'd rather one should walk with me than just to show the way. The eye is a better pupil and more willing than the ear. Advice may be misleading, but examples are always clear. And the very best of teachers are the ones who live their creed, for to see good put into use is what everybody needs. I can soon learn to do it if you let me see it done. I can see your hands in motion, but your tongue too fast may run. And the lessons you deliver may be fine and very true, but I'd rather learn my lesson by observing what you do. For I misunderstand you and the fine advice you give, but there's no misunderstanding how you act and how you live. So what we have to do is make sure people see that our do say is consistent, that we're not just saying it, we're doing it. And that's our challenge, and that's our focus, that's our goal. And we're going to make sure when people see our say and do will be consistent. And that hopefully will build the trust to get more people on board so we can collaboratively make Prince George's County one of the best places in America to be educated. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Joseph. Thank you, media, for your time today. Either myself or my colleague, Lynn McCauley, who is back there among you, are happy to work with you to schedule follow-up interviews, one-on-ones over the coming weeks. Thank you so much.
Mic check, 1, 2, 3.
They do. They're typically like a third Wednesday every year. So there was one last night. Typically once a month, sometimes twice a month.
That's like I said.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll add you to our media list. Are you on our media list?
Hey, what's going on, man? Good to see you. How's it going? You doing good? How are you? Just hanging in there, man. Fridays.
Yes, sir.